Hi, I'm the Great Brandini, and I have something very unusual to show you today. I don't know if any of you have seen one of these before. Maybe you have, maybe not. It looks a little bit like this. Have you ever seen one of these before? This is what all the hipsters are wearing now in the short north. They call it the skinny scarf. Look how thin it makes me look. I gained all this weight just for that joke. I know what you're thinking. That's not how you tie the skinny scarf, right? The skinny scarf has these fancy schmancy ways of going around and double tying like this, which looks really fashionable, I admit, but it constricts a little bit for me, so I just prefer to wear it the other way. No, honestly, this is just a piece of rope. As you can see, it's a very solid piece of rope. It doesn't come apart in any way. There is no glue, no screws, no snaps, no magnets, no fasteners of any kind. You won't see any binder clips. There won't be any paper clips. There won't be any knots. There's no nut. Okay, there's a few knots, but they're genuine knots, and I will begin to untie these. Stay right where you are. The only thing is, I did put a little bit of tape on the ends of the rope just to keep them from being afraid. So I have a solid rope, and I have another thing over here you might find interesting. It's one of these. It's a stainless steel 10-inch ring or hoop, and I'm not really sure what they're used for, but I really like doing this with it. It just feels cool to do it. And if you examine it, you'll see there's no openings, trapdoors, cracks, holes, anything like that. The only hole is the one that goes right through the middle, and that's important because without that hole, this could be a pizza pan. All right, so it's a solid hoop and a solid piece of rope, and I'm going to tie a solid overhand knot. Now this is an upright overhand knot. It is not an underhanded overhand knot, because if it were an underhanded overhand knot, I wouldn't be able to show you the front and the back of the knot, but because it is an upright overhand knot and not an underhanded overhand knot, I can show you the back of the knot. Now if I just take the ring and toss it in, you can see that it leaks right onto the rope inside of the knot, which is pretty unusual. Another thing I'd like to show you is if I just slide it down here. Now while the hoop is still threaded onto the rope, I'm going to take the other end here and tie a granny knot that my square taught me. I mean, I tie a square knot that my granny taught me. Just right over left, left over right, just like that, so that the hoop is nice and secure to the rope. Now over here I happen to have an exact duplicate of one of those hoops. Looks just like this. See how they ring? So I have two solid hoops and one solid rope, but this link right up here, that is transferable. So you can go right from the scarf to the actually, this is what you call an optical illusion. Now seriously, it just looks like they're linked together. You see from this angle it looks like they're linked, but if you look at it from another angle, you can see there's quite a distance there. Now that you know that it's an optical illusion, you can't not see it. You see, if I just link them together like this, well, you can see that they're not really linked, and I'm just holding it there with my finger. Now most magicians wouldn't use their index finger, that's too large. They'll use their little finger, which looks like that, and they may gesture to kind of help hide it, but you see, you can't not see that it's on there. Personally, I like to use my thumb from this position. I know it doesn't look great here, but from a distance it really looks like these rings are linked together. But we know that's impossible, because you can't take two stainless steel solid rings, link them together like this, and then be able to unlink them like that. That just isn't possible. Even if I were to hang it right here on my thumb like this, and just sort of set this one on top of it with my flicker finger of my other hand. This is the finger that I flick with. I'm sure you have one too. I just flick it off, and it appears that this ring links onto this one, and it appears that this ring links onto this one. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you the actual science behind this. As you know, there are three phases of matter: solids, liquids, and gases. Right now in solids, the molecules are really tight together like this, but in liquids, they are a little further apart. And with gases, they're really far apart, and that's why they're gases. So you can pass solids through liquids, and you can pass solids through gases, but when the molecules are really tight, you can't. Well, there's one spot right here on the side of this ring that's kind of in a phase shift between solid and liquid, and the molecules are a little bit spread out. So if you take another solid object and just strike it sharply against it, it'll pass right through. Watch. Was that this ring, or was that? You know what? I have another ring right over. Oh, you know what? I think it's this ring. If I just, yeah, it's this ring right here. It just passes through like that, and yeah, right there on that spot. You know what? I'm going to mark that spot. I'm going to mark it. I'll use that piece of rope that we just had, and I'll mark the spot so that we all can see exactly where it is. And I do have another solid hoop right over here. So what I'm going to do is just show you how that's the spot where the rings go right there. You see how it links right there, and I can take it off. Just where did the I'm not really sure how that happened, but let me just loosen that up a little bit here, and I will it'd be better to do it this way. I'm just going to wind this up because I want to be able to take the rope off of the solid ring, because I don't need it there anymore. So I'll just give it a little tug and it'll go right through it like this. See how it just comes right off, isn't it? Oh no, that happened a little faster than I was expecting. I'll just back up a little bit. Abracadabra! And take that off like that. What I wanted to do was have it pass through really slowly, really elegantly, so that it looks like this. Now I'm going to need an assistant, so I have my friend Mike over here. Well, actually, it's a stand-in for Mike. It's a mic stand. And Mike, if you'll just hold on to that ring, can you all see that? Do I need to raise that up a little? So here's a little tip for you. Practice with a mic stand. You hold on to that. Obviously I can't go up or down, and I can't pull them apart this way, and I can't push them through that way, and I can't go that way, but I can just sort of slip them off right there in that direction. Now I'll take these two rings right here and just give a little, see how that just works like that. And you can see that all three rings are kind of linked together there. Now, this is the closest I will ever get to driving an Audi. So I'll just take this one here and blow, and that's ring number one. Take this one here and blow, and that's ring number two. And this, of course, is ring number three. And that, my friends, is the majestic rope and some rings. And I'm the Great Randini. See you next time.